Hi, welcome to Witchy Wednesdays. I'm JC Moonspirit.
I'm Sings with House.
Today we want to talk to you about the new moon coming up in Gemini and what effects that can have on us. Sings has found us a wonderful spread by Lavrentos to help guide us through this wonderful time of transition. And we are going to be pulling from Viking, Futhark, and Witch runes today. So if you would like to have a free one-tile pulled, message it on any of our live broadcasts or in any of the chat rooms available, and we will get that pulled for you. Welcome, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
What are we learning about today?
So it says legend. Where have I been too self-centered? How has it affected those I care about? How can I be more reliable? And what can give me clarity in the chaos?
Beautiful. Simple 4-card, 4 runes.
Right. We can always pull one for the message from the moon if you'd like.
We'll see what happens. Yeah. All right, where would you like to start?
Where have I been too self-centered? Okay. How has it affected those I care about?
Feels like they have weight today.
Yeah.
Instead of spotlighting like they usually do, I feel like there's just a weight.
Well, they said it kind of reminds you of Libra, so in some way.
Well, they're both air signs.
So number 3, how can I be more reliable? How are you guys doing out there today? Hope you're enjoying your Wednesday. Ooh. Rita. What can give me clarity in the chaos? Good afternoon, JJ.
All right. So our first question, where have I been too self-centered?
Notice. Need, necessity, constraint, need, endurance, hardships, delays, self-reliance, survival, cause of human sorrow, and the letter N in the alphabet. How has it affected those I care about?
So we got the rings. I feel like this is the lessons message continued because there's lots of lessons that come up in the notice. There's lack mindsets, time imbalances, independence versus codependence. You're making your own test. You're making yourself miserable. You need to change your perspective. And then there's the rings, and the rings show up as cycles.
Yes.
So it's how are these things connected? What's bringing these things together? What brings this to the forefront now? It comes to the forefront now because it's the time in the cycle where we let it go. That's what the new moon is all about. We start over fresh. And a lot of the suffering and stuff we go through, we think happens in the dark, like nobody else can see it. But when it comes closer to the time of the new moon, I feel like it's just like the full moon. You get pulled down a little bit more into that root that says, okay, this is what it feels like to be in the thick of this. Do we want to stick with this, or do we want to change something about it? And you decide to change something about it, and it blossoms back up. It's kind of like a flower that just reblossoms. It's really cool. So number 3, how can I be more reliable?
Rado. Riding, chariot, wagon, journey, soul after death, work, travel, destiny, evolution, journey charms, and the letter R in the alphabet.
Maybe this has something to do with the responsibility that we take over our own journey. I feel like if we ourselves find something that helps us to move us past these points, it can help us to evolve for the next person behind us. Sometimes we have to be the leader and say, okay, it stops with me. You know, generational curse, it stops with me. This programming issue stops with me. My kids don't have to go through this. And I feel like that's a big thing that's coming up in a lot of different communities now is that we just really want to get a move on with things. We don't want to feel stuck in one place anymore. And with the pandemic going through us, all of the changes that have happened around the world, it's less important how, I would say, like whether it's going to be in a car or a plane or whether it's going to be the travel restrictions or whatever. I think it's more of what do we move forward with? Like, we know these systems don't work. We know that the economy requires the poor people to be able to spend money too. Like, it's restructuring in a way, I think. Okay. Number 4,
What can give me clarity in the chaos?
we got waves. I like that and I don't like that. 2 reasons. One, waves is kind of overwhelming sometimes. Because
Yes.
it comes in waves. Grief comes in waves. Happiness comes in waves too. It does. Joy comes in waves. Creativity comes in waves. Inspiration comes in waves. So I would say that you have to pick and choose where you're swimming. You have to choose what you're going to immerse yourself in because, yeah, it could be shadow work, but are you going into the shadow work knowing that you have to take a light in there? Are you going to be spreading that light around and turning that energy into something you can actually use? Or do you just want to drown?
Well, it's funny you mentioned swimming. In that analogy, you could either swim with fish or swim with the shark.
Exactly. I saw something on Facebook the other day. It said behind every woman is a story where she had to choose between sinking or swimming. I think that's important to remember. We all have to choose with every story we tell whether we chose to sink or swim.
And I'd like to add that in the research for today, that I read that during this new moon, that you'll plant the seeds for things that will come up back up in December of this year. So keeping that in mind, plant your seeds well.
Absolutely. Did we have any requests for one tile readings today? See, there's some people over there. It says wave. Can't reach the phone, so we'll wave at you from here.
Yay.
We've got Blue Eyed Gypsy. It looks like we have Violet on with us as well. We have somebody else, but I'm having trouble making out the name. Wonderful. Right. JK says yes, please. Okay, wonderful. Do you have a preference, Viking, Futhark, or Witch Rune? Cool, cool. Witch. Okay, cool. Things is tracking our runes for us. That way we can go back over and review these and share some more information as we get it with you guys on the blog. No, but it's all right. Yeah. And JK wanted a witch.
My little goddess. Brought her with us.
So JK, you got hope. I believe the last time we pulled a rune for you, you were going through a bit of an upheaval in the home office situation. There was a connection between your home life and your work life that needed a little bit of TLC. And so I feel like the hope is kind of like opening the curtains after you just did the remodel. It's letting a light come in and shine on everything that's there and give it some positive energy. I feel like this has a lot to do not just with your mindset and the way that you approach whatever it is you're doing, but I think it also has to do with similar to the reading we did before. I feel like it has to do with the waves. I feel like it has to move. The hope has to move. So I feel like you have to do things that inspire you.
Bring some flowers in your home.
Yeah, bring flowers in your home. I like fountains as well. We don't have a lot of running fountains in the house, but I feel like having running water in a place, especially an office, keeps you from having stagnating energy because it's something that just recycles. So you're continually using the resource. I also think it's funny because hope springs.
Okay.
That's what I have for you. I think it's
Is there anyone
a
else?
positive message, JK.
Which room?
I'd like a witch rune, please.
Bring
That
some of your
is
gypsy.
Diana.
Hello.
All right. Now I'll hold it.
Get with program Diana.
The eye. All right. So Diana, you got the eye. The eye has a lot to do with your subconscious, your third eye, your psychic abilities, and your intuition. So what I have to say further on your message is that you need to trust and believe that these things are strong enough to carry you through in the next cycle. I think it is when I have more room after I switch home office. It's wonderful. That is fantastic. Okay. So back to the eye. I think it has to do with you have to claim ownership of yourself, of your gifts in a way that you may not necessarily have been comfortable with in the past. I feel like it also has to do, especially with your connection to spirit or spirits, because of who you are and how you're drawn. I just feel like this is connected deeply with who you are versus who you want to be perceived as, because the eye is also perceptions from other people. So, yeah, I think this is an auspicious time for you, for your growth, and I hope that this is helpful. Getting used to all these new broadcasts and having to smile. They're so cute. Hello.
I like this.
Hi, darling.
I like
How
my
are you?
suffering.
Okay.
It's Miss Shore Stamp. He said, hi, guys.
Hello.
Crumble. You said hi,
Rev Magic.
Reverend Magic.
Yeah.
I don't know who Reverend Magic is.
Met Reverend Magic. Met Reverend Magic at the farm.
What farm?
Records.
Reverend Magic is Steve.
No, that's Mr. Stamp.
Yeah.
Sanders. Wonderful.
Would you
Hi.
like a free room pull?
I'm sure at some point I will remember you.
Answer.
Nope. I see a lot of comments from Blue Eye Gypsy who said hi guys and thank you.
Yes.
I have more room after I switch to the office. I hope it helps.
It's going to be a good shift of energy for you.
It's not always comfortable to reclaim parts of yourself that you like to stay dormant for a while, but it is definitely a necessary part of the next cycle we step into. It's hard to be your highest self if you're not going to live up to your full potentials. Speak from experience.
That means cleaning out all the sheds and dumping all the old garbage.
It also means picking up the things you left on the sidelines, like channeling abilities, and the ability to scry and do divination to answer your own questions, listening to yourself. All kinds of wonderful magical things. So, would we like to pull a room for tomorrow? Okay, where from?
Have y'all stood this whole time?
No,
No.
I did a little bit though, because I liked it.
We were the same height for all of like 2 seconds, and then I was like, I'm way back here, and I feel like I have
I
to
love
project
you.
very much.
And so we
So I'm
got
just going to stand
Rado.
up.
Challenging your perceptions. Challenging your perceptions.
Changing positions. All right. Without Fredo, I mean.
Again. Chariot, wagon, journey, soul after death, work, travel, destiny, evolution, journey charms, and the letter R in the alphabet. So tomorrow is Thursday.
Mhm.
It does say work and travel.
Mhm.
So whatever you may be doing, have a smile on your face with
Listen to some really good music to help you move through things.
that. Yeah.
Don't
it's-
stay focused on negatives.
and
That's
it's-
how you get sidelined.
Mercury in retrograde. So.
I feel like Mercury in retrograde is the teacher of how we communicate about ourselves to ourselves. This might seem a little weird to a lot of people, but I talk this way all the time, so just bear with me. I think that Mercury is a messenger god in Roman mythology, and Mercury deals a lot with technology and communications, and so these things tend to go on the fritz during a retrograde. And so when that happens, sometimes tendencies are to get exacerbated or exasperated with technology or with other people. And then we
Yes.
throw up a bunch of negatives and roadblocks with ourselves instead of just garnering that patience that we've been taught we need to have to move through those roadblocks and just saying, hey, I'm having a little bit of an off moment. Can you send me some grounding energy? Or having a little bit of a moment. Can we take a walk? You know, reaching out and asking for help isn't the easiest thing in the world to do. It can be quite hard sometimes, especially in certain communities and in certain places, but it is a necessary part of our evolution as a species to remember that we know how to listen.
Yes, that was a clear point in the research for today. Was to make sure that you remember to listen, that there'll be a lot of communication craziness, and to be patient with one another. And remember that if you tell someone, you could say, I really missed you, instead of saying,
You never
you didn't
call.
call me, you didn't text me, you didn't hit me up.
Right.
So keeping that in mind.
Focus on the I in a safe and healthy way when you're communicating instead of making everything an accusation, because then you're making everything about you. It's not working for you.
All right. If there's no others, we will go ahead and get off here for the evening.
All right. Well, tune in for Tarot Talk Thursday with my lovely bestie Sings with Alice and myself, JC Moon Spirit. We will be doing more intuitive consultations like this through tarot and oracle cards tomorrow night. If you would like to have a free one-card reading, just tune in on our live feeds and request one. Peace and blessings, everybody.
Peace and blessings.